Hi, welcome back. It's Sue here. I've got another book haul for you today, and this time I thought it'd be a little bit different because since I do call this In My Mailbox / book haul, I thought I'd have some elements of the In My Mailbox. I got a couple packages here. Thought, why not do an unboxing on the video, and just something different. So I've got a little mix, like I said. I've got some YA, I've got some adult sci-fi, got some middle grade, even some digital books. So here it all comes. First one is Something Strange and Deadly by Susan Dennard. This is a digital ARC. It's her debut novel. It's a YA paranormal book. And I'm not going to go into it a whole lot. I've finished reading this. It's fantastic. I'm going to be posting a separate review for this, so be sure and check that out. It's coming out July 24th, 2012. In addition to that, I stopped off at Walmart recently, and I kind of passed these by before. Then I saw them on someone else's book haul, and I thought, I really do want to go back and get those. So it's two books. They're both bind-ups. Each book contains two books. It's by Richie, Tankersley, Cusick. This is The Unseen. It contains book 1 and 2. Book 1 is It Begins, and then Rest in Peace. And then I also picked up book 2, which contains Blood Brothers and Sin and Salvation. You can kind of see that. And the cool thing is when you put these two together, you get that. This is exclusively sold through Walmart, and that's what the spine looks like. Put that together. And I'll read you a little bit about the storyline here from book 1. It says, out walking alone one rainy night, Lucy becomes convinced that someone or something is following her. Spooked, she ducks into a cemetery to try to lose her stalker. Panicking in the darkness, she slips and stumbles into an open grave, only to discover she is not alone in there. She manages to escape, but soon begins having terrifying visions and dreams, and she still can't shake the feeling of an unseen presence, always watching, waiting. Who was the girl in the grave, and what did she do to Lucy? So, really kind of creepy sounding. It's got really large print on these books. So, even though it looks kind of massive, I think it's 274 pages. It's just, two books combined, so each one is a little bit over 100 pages. Should be a pretty quick read, and I just think that's going to look really cool on the shelves. So if you get a chance, Walmart. Okay. And then I saw this on someone else's book haul, and I just love the cover. It looked really neat. This is Once a Witch by, pronounce it, Carolyn MacCullough. It's got a really nice glossy cover. And there's also a sequel called Always a Witch. So Once a Witch, Always a Witch. And so it's fantastic urban fantasy, an enchanting romance at heart. And it's a YA book. I'll read a little bit of the back blurb here. Tasman Green comes from a long line of witches, and on the day she was born, her grandmother proclaimed she would be the most talented among them. But Tamsin's magic never showed up. Now, 17 years later, she spends most of her time at a boarding school in Manhattan, where she can at least pretend to be normal. But during the summer, she's forced to return home and work at her family's bookstore / magic shop. One night, a handsome young professor from New York University arrives in the shop and mistakes Tamsin for her extremely talented older sister. For once, it's Tamsin who's being looked at with awe and admiration, and before she can stop herself, she agrees to find a family heirloom for him that was lost more than a century ago. But the search and the stranger proved to be more sinister than they first appeared, ultimately sending Tamsin on a treasure hunt through time that will unlock the secret of her true identity, unearth the past sins of her family, and unleash a power so strong and so vengeful it could destroy them all. So, that's again Carolyn MacCullough, Once a Witch. And if I like that, I'll pick up book 2. This one I picked up at Barnes & Noble by Sara Wilson Etienne, Harbinger. It's got a really kind of cool papery cover with the raised letters through here. Oh no. Okay, no, this one I wanted to show you. This one's got a really neat map of the island where the story takes place, and Holbrook Academy. And that's the back. And the spine. And it's just sort of a black with red letters on the inside there. And I read a little bit about the blurb on this book too. Plagued by waking visions and nightmares, inexplicably drawn to the bones of dead animals, Faye thinks she's going crazy. Her parents believe Holbrook Academy might just be the solution. Dr. Murdoch tells her it's the only answer, but Faye knows that something's not quite right about Dr. Murdoch and her creepy prison-like school for disturbed teenagers. What's wrong with Holbrook goes beyond the takers, statistic guards who threaten the student body with tasers and pepper spray, or a nurse who doles out pills at bedtime in doses of solitary confinement when kids step out of line. Or Rita, the strange girl who delivers ominous messages to Faye that never seem to make any sense. What's Wrong with Holbrook begins and ends with Faye's red hands. She and her newfound friends, her Holbrook family, wake up every morning with their hands stained the terrible brown red of dried blood. Faye has no idea what it means, but fears she may be the cause. Because despite the strangeness of Holbrook and the island on which it sits, Faye feels oddly connected to the place. She feels especially linked to the handsome Kell, who helps her unravel the mystery. There's just one problem. Faye's certain Kell's trying to kill her. And maybe the rest of the world, too. A rich and taunty-told psychological thriller, Harbinger heralds the arrival of an exciting new voice in young adult fiction. New voice. It could be her debut novel. I tried finding that out. I couldn't find it on Goodreads or anything, but it sounds like it might be a debut novel by this particular author. I'd seen it, like I said, a couple hauls and things, and it just sounded really, really interesting to me. Now, I've got it. Time for an unboxing. Ooh. I can get it open. There we go. And this should be, it is my middle grade books. Got The Magic of Finkleton and The Return to Finkleton by Casey Hilton. And I've seen these on so many hauls. I just love the covers of these. They're just gorgeous. Look at that. The clock and everything. I say fans of Harry Potter, you know, the kind of genre will love this story. Then I'm going to read a little bit of the back of the first one here. Most folks say Mother Nature controls the rain. However, this is not the case in the village of Finkleton. In the perfect little village of Finkleton, the weather is always perfect. Every farm grows the best, biggest, healthiest crops in the entire world, and everyone is happy. Soon after the Finkles inherit their Uncle Harry's shop to move to Finkleton, they discover magical secrets hidden in the shop. One clue at a time, Jack, Lizzie, and Robert learn the town's amazing secret. No, Mother Nature is not in charge in Finkleton. Ever since Uncle Harry's death, the weather has not been cooperating. Farms are starting to fail. Will the Finkle children be able to solve all the magical mysteries before the village is destroyed? This is a very magical adventure is about to begin. So, again, kind of Harry Potterish themes going in there. Not a very big book, but it has gotten rave reviews from everybody I've seen review it on. 181 pages in this one. Return to Finkleton. Yeah, about 210, and I believe I read somewhere there's going to be a third. If I can find where that was. Saving Finkleton. I'm not sure when that'll be due out for release, but I know just these two are out right now. Really, really thin books. That's the backs. Just sound really, really cool. I can't wait to get started on these. So if you get a chance, check them out. I got mine through Barnes & Noble. And last one. This is a used book I picked up. It is through Motor City Books. I believe I either ordered this through Amazon or Barnes & Noble through one of like the third parties, like for books that are out of print. And handy dandy knife and get this thing open. It doesn't have a little pull tab to make it easy. So yeah, do that with a knife in your hand. Inhale yourself. That'll make for good video viewing. Okay. Should I grab scissors? Now this is an adult sci-fi. Oh, it's a little beat up. I was hoping to be a little bit better condition, but I couldn't find one anywhere in stores anywhere at this point. But it's Isaac Asimov's The Robot Novels. Now this contains The Caves of Steel, The Naked Sun, and The Robots of Dawn, which are like books 2, 3, and 4 in the Robot series. I believe book 1 is considered like I, Robot, which is a series of interlinked short stories. I first read one of these, which was The Naked Sun, in my high school English class. It was just assigned to us, assigned reading. It was the best assigned reading ever, short of To Kill a Mockingbird, both by the same English teacher, by the way. And I fell in love with this story. I mean, it brought two of my favorite genres, mystery and sci-fi, together. If you haven't ever read any of these, definitely pick them up. They are fantastic. For instance, the story of The Naked Sun, let me just get my notes here. Wherever I lost them. Just sent everything flying with the wrapping. It tells a tale of this outer worlds of this planet called Solaria. And a rather strange, mysterious murder has taken place. And a New York City detective by the name of Elijah Bailey is paired up with this humanoid robot, R. Daniel Oliva, R standing for robot, to go and investigate the murder. On this particular planet, the humans live very much like hermits. They don't go out of their houses. Everything they need is taken care of by the robot servants. one particular man is like a recluse. He never leaves the home. The only way he communicates with other people is through, it's almost like a Skype kind of version of communication, but it's a holographic version of communication. So he'll appear as a hologram to his friends and things, and he turns up dead, obviously murdered. But the only other beings in the house around him are robots. And this is where you really become aware of the 3 laws of robotics, which, if you don't remember, I will read them from my notes here. My first law of robotics says a robot may not injure a human being or through an inaction allow a human being to come to harm. The second law states a robot must obey orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And then the third law, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. So how could this person be murdered? How could a human get close enough without a robot intervening? A human couldn't command the robot to do it because, again, it breaks the law. And a robot itself could not have murdered this person because that is contrary to the laws of robotics. So, excellent mystery taking place here. Obviously, obvious science fiction elements. Fantastic. And the 2 main characters, Elijah Bailey and our Daniel Oliver, are in all 3 of the stories. Once I read the book 2, I had to go and get the rest of the series. And of course, I've since read iRobot and a lot of the other ones. So, if you get a chance, try and check them down. You may not find this bind-up version. I just kind of wanted something more in a trade. Although, my God, that print is really tiny. But yeah, I thought it would look a little bit better on a shelf than just the little mass markets. But the mass markets are still available in the stores. You should be able to pick them up. If you want to try just one of the stories, The Naked Sun was my favorite. But of course, you'll be introduced to the characters and how they're introduced to each other in the Caves of Steel. Definitely worth the read. That's pretty much everything I have for you today. Be back not too long because I've got a couple other shelf books you'll see kind of reversed here and some more down there that went a little mad with, and I've got more book hauls. And of course, May 1st, we all know what's coming out May 1st, Insurgent, so I've got that on reserve already, so that'll be in one of the book hauls. So be sure and tune in. Let me know what you're reading, and if you've actually read any of these, even this one, what you thought of them. Be interested in hearing, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.